The Denver Broncos obviously had a disappointing end to their season. You saw your starting quarterback go out at the end of a game where he had probably shouldn't have been running. You saw your season come to an end after a head coaching miscue early in the game, went for it on fourth down with a backup quarterback instead of taking the points in a game that ultimately was controlled by the weather. All of those things resulted in the Denver Broncos losing in the AFC Championship game, but the season is not a loss. I am telling you, this team is for real. They are going to be back here next year. I believe that in my heart of hearts. Bo Nix's health is paramount. And I know that the media is trying to blow up some sort of discontent or, turmoil within the building based on Bo Nix's health and the comments by Sean Payton. I don't believe that is the case. They are cohesive and they are going to be able to overlook some of these things and get past these things and perform into year 3 of the Bo Nix era in Denver. But are they for real about getting back here without making any changes? No team can run it back the same way they have without some tweaks, even with a top 5 defense, even with everything they had go right. There are still things that need to be addressed, and we're going to start and get into those right now. One of the things I think that needs to happen is that you need to get a real tight end. Evan Ingram is great, but he's aging. You have some key cap space here. Why not go get a guy like, I don't know, maybe Kyle Pitts, a true receiving tight end? You just swap him with Evan Ingram. Ingram wasn't very viable as a blocker, never really has been. And I think Kyle Pitts has significantly more upside as a receiver at the tight end position than Evan Ingram does in this point in his career. And tight ends aren't overly expensive. Kyle Pitts, you could get him for an average annual value of probably around $7 to $8 million, which isn't bad. And he provides significantly more upside as that receiving threat. I think he could be a safety blanket for Nix. I'm a big Pat Bryant fan. I think he will work out. He does have that physical body to go over the center. Some concussions slowed him down in his rookie year, but I think in year 2, he will be a viable option. Getting Kyle Pitts in this offense makes everything work better. You have a reliable chain mover. Now, there's not a lot of people you have to worry about on a free agency, right? A lot of the people that you're losing, you could say, they have a role, but they're replaceable. We can kind of make things work and revamp the team, not rebuild the team, right? You're in a revamp portion right here. You're trying to tweak the things to get you back to make that Super Bowl berth that you missed out on in 2025. With all those things said, I think that solved your offensive problems. Maybe you could look to possibly see what other additions you can make. The wide receiver free agent market's not that great, but getting a reliable chain mover is something that is important. And although Troy Franklin isn't bad, I think you might be better off looking to the draft and maybe like a guy like Skylar Bell out of UConn. He's PFF Big Board 79, great body control, very good burst. Route running is clear and apparent. He's very crisp. I'm telling you right now, some of the catches I've seen this guy make when it comes to body control, catching passes over the shoulder, it seems like second nature to him. He's got range for days. He is a little undersized at 6 foot, 185. So you're not getting quite out of the Troy Franklin build. However, I think he runs a better route and he's more employable inside of an offense based on his route tree than maybe Troy Franklin will ever be. That being said, that really doesn't get you everything you need. I think you combine that with a Kyle Pitts, though, and now your team starts to come together. You get that reliable chain mover, that crisp route runner. You have Cortland Sutton, that physical outside body. Pat Bryant can kind of go do a lot of those things as well. Very, very physical, very good at tight window catching. That rounds this offense out. It helps Bo Nix a little bit, and you start to get a better production and more consistent production than you have from your wide receivers in 2025, where PFF actually ranked this as one of the weakest wide receiver cores at a 26th per PFF. Adding some of these dynamics in here helps push you up the board as a receiving team and helps Bo Nix out. And even with all that, Bo Nix did pretty decent anyway, so we're talking about jumping into some elite territory at that point. The defense, though, there's not a lot of things to change. I mean, you could say, hey, we need to maybe replace this guy, maybe replace that guy, maybe get an upgrade at corner, but you have Patrick Surtain on one side. You can pretty much anybody's number 1, number 2, depending on how you want to deploy Surtain, go into a bracketed coverage, safety over the top on your weak corner. Benito was great. I think that this team on defense, there isn't a lot of things to worry about. Your linebacker core is one of the best duos, there with Greenlaw and Singleton. I think that Benito is probably easily a top 10 pass rusher in the league. When you look at all the things you did on defense, the offense needs to be the focus. Restructure the wide receiver core, get Cortland Sutton some help, get him a running mate that is capable of alleviating some of these things. Because right now, they're daring other people to beat their defense when they go up against this Broncos offense outside of Cortland Sutton. You figure that out, Denver Broncos back, baby. And I think that this team, 100%, if they had Bo Nix, would be in the Super Bowl. That tells you everything you need to know about the direction the Broncos are heading to in 2026.
This has been Between the Uprights. Football is life. The rest is just details.